But every word that is going to be used about Kamala Harris is now going to be perceived as sexist. That's the way this works. It's unbelievably high levels of gaslighting. Any word you use about Kamala Harris will now be turned automatically into a racist, sexist word. So, for example, there is a piece in Politico today essentially suggesting that if you say that Kamala Harris is phony, phony is now a sexist term. If you say phony, then that is sexist as well. Nasty is a particular favorite, though, of the various media outlets. According to the Washington Post, also that word nasty is bad. Ashley Parker, writing for the Washington Post, again, incredible levels of journalism. President Trump has called magazines, pharmaceutical advertisements, and questions nasty. He's called rumors numbers, and one unnamed TV columnist who gave The Apprentice a bad review nasty. He has called men nasty, and he has called women nasty. Okay, well, isn't that a pretty good indicator it ain't a sexist term? He calls everything nasty. He'll be like, that's a nasty pole. Like, that's a nasty dog, like a dog. Right? Everything's nasty. But if he says it about a woman, uniquely, like a focusing of a laser beam, it's sexism. And so just hours after former VP Joe Biden announced Kamala Harris as his running mate, Trump reached for one of his favorite adjectives and dismissed the first woman of color on a major party ticket as nasty. Speaking to reporters Tuesday, he described her activity during the questioning of Brett Kavanaugh as nasty to a level that was just a horrible thing. True. He said she was the meanest and most horrible in pressing Kavanaugh. True. He said her debate stage attacks against Biden were very, very nasty. True. The insult is one Trump has levied roughly equally against men and women alike since becoming president, according to FactBase, a data analytics company that tracks all of Trump's public utterances. He did use it far more frequently during the 2016 campaign against women than men, but that's because he was running against Hillary Clinton. But here, okay, this is unbelievable. Man, reportorial courage right here. The resonance of the adjective, the way the attack lands, the nuances in connotation, is often different when the recipient is a woman, and different still when that woman is a person of color. Calling a woman nasty, say many experts and women in politics, is another way to deliberately dismiss and demean female politicians. Holy effing S. Like, wow. Wow. So you spend the first several paragraphs acknowledging freely that Donald Trump uses the word nasty to describe everything from foot odor to toothpaste. And then you're like, but if he uses that exact same term for this lady, suddenly, poof, it's transformed. Voila, abracadabra. It is now transformed into racism and also sexism. Stephanie Shriak, president of Emily's List. Yeah, she's a linguistic expert. Well, let's go to the abortion lady. Abortion lady, what say you about President Trump? I think he's a racist and a sexist. Thank you, abortion lady. Your opinion is valued here. I love this. Linguistics professor and fan of abortion, Stephanie Shriak, says it has really become coded language for a woman. It tries to put her in a place that is unacceptable to society. Our society allows for poor behavior by men, but has little acceptance for anything but perfection by... Yes, I am sure this is the case. You are absolutely correct, Stephanie Shriak. Our society allows for poor behavior by men, but has little acceptance for anything but perfection by women? Really, I seem to remember, because I'm, again, older than a week old, I'm old enough to remember when I did a 10-minute segment mocking a song in which two women gallivanted around singing about their wet-ass P-words. For those in Media Matters, I say P-words because this also appears on radio, you stupid ass. So we'll bleep that out. But let me just point out to you that I made fun of a song and the entire world went insane because I simply said that perhaps it is not the most ennobling aspect of femininity to spend 3 minutes talking about the moisture state of your genitals. And this was considered bad taste. This was considered as though it was an attack on women. No, perfection is expected from women. It's absolutely expected from women. According to Emily Shriak, if you say nasty about a woman, then it's really different than saying nasty about a man because perfection is expected for women. Like, for example, you could be a former prostitute who drugged and stole money from men, and then you could rap about your vagina for 3 minutes straight. And this is an excellent indicator that you are a hero of the American Republic. Not only that, there's an article in Vulture yesterday, I noticed, in which the columnist compared, I kid you not, that particular song, which is too vulgar for radio, they compared that particular song to Shakespeare by way of pornography. Okay, that would be true if Shakespeare hit his head on a brick repeatedly and then fell headlong into a toilet and died and went to hell and ended up listening to a Cardi B song. That's the only way you can connect Shakespeare to that. But don't worry, guys. Perfection is expected of women. Who knew? Who knew? Well done, everybody. Washington Post report. Wow. Solid reporting. Trump, said Shriak, knows exactly what he's doing. Aparna Thomas, a professor of politics and gender, sexuality, and women's studies. Oh, well, she's going to be an expert, too. I mean, she is a professor of politics and gender and sexuality and women's studies. So she's a professional, useless person who makes money telling people stupid crap about gender that is not scientifically accurate. Said the descriptor is dismissive and signifies that women are not to be taken seriously. She said it was significant that nasty was the inaugural attack Trump hurled at Harris. This is in the Washington Post, guys. That's the first thing that comes to the president's mind, is that she's to be dismissed and that she's a nasty woman. We're now back to 2016, where we have a vice presidential candidate who is female and is still being judged by a different set of standards set by men. You're damned right she's being judged by a different set of standards than men, not set by men. She's judged by a different set of standards than men. Because you know what we would call a presidential candidate who failed so radically that he dropped out before the primaries even began? We would call them not VP. We would call them not VP. Cory Booker's sitting over here crying to himself because he's a man. Cory Booker is better qualified by leagues than Kamala Harris. The man at least ran a city. Okay, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But, so he uses the same word, nasty, for men and women. But if he uses it against a woman, then it's a sexist term. Magically. It's just unbelievable. Okay, so this is solid stuff. Really solid stuff. Valerie Jarrett was quoted here too, because Valerie Jarrett, another unbiased source on linguistics. The words nasty and mean are much more pejorative when directed at a woman, said Valerie Jarrett, senior advisor to former President Obama, and a board member of Time's Up, a legal defense fund for women who are victimized in the workplace, except for Tara Reid, when she accuses Joe Biden of sticking his hand up her. There's this whole sense that women need to be likable, and when you say they're nasty or mean, that is intended to cut them deeply. Whereas men are not subjected to the same likability test. Are they not now? Really? Men don't have to be likable? Interesting. Because I've been following politics for quite a long time. So good journalism there from the Washington Post. I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Ben Shapiro Show. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date on all of our future content.